Hi friends, and welcome back to another lesson with me. Today we're going to be focusing on antonyms. Do you know what an antonym is? Well, that's okay if you don't. That's what I'm here for today. We're going to go over exactly what an antonym is, a few exercises, just so that you can fully understand what it is we are dealing with. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. Let's break down our definition of what an antonym is. So, a word opposite in meaning to another. Let's look at that again. A word opposite in meaning to another. Opposite. Opposite. Now, our key word, which I've underlined and I'm also going to circle. Our key word is opposite, right? So, antonyms, opposite. When you think of an antonym, you think of an opposite. Antonym, opposites. Antonym, opposites. Great. Now let's define what a word has to be considered an opposite. So I'm gonna just make some bullet points somewhere here. So it is totally different. And what will be our second word? A reverse. So, an opposite is something that is totally different from someone or something, or the reverse of someone or something. That is what an opposite is, okay? So, it is something that is totally different, beyond just being different, totally different, and the reverse of someone or something. Now, let's look at just a few examples of opposites. Antonyms. Okay, the right word for opposites is antonyms. Let me change my marker. When you think antonyms, sorry about that. When you think antonyms, we think opposites. So antonyms, opposite. This is what we're paying attention to, right? So this is what we're making reference to when we're looking at our opposites. Let's look at it. Bad, good. When something is bad, it can also be good. That is the total opposite. Bad is the total opposite of good, and good is the reverse of bad. Okay? Antonyms, opposite. Opposite, different, or reverse. Dark. If a place is not dark, it is light, bright. Okay? So, light being totally different to dark, and the reverse of dark, but still within the same, right? You can't say dark and have end as an opposite, because it is when a word is totally opposite in meaning to that specific word. So if you say dark and end, dark means complete darkness and end means over. So even though it's not opposite because it's just different, right? Dark and end are just two different words, but they aren't opposite in meaning. Whereas dark and light are opposite in meaning. Old and young. Your grandmother could be old and your baby sister is young. So this is once again the different, totally different to old, and the reverse of old. Right or wrong. You are either right or you're wrong. It's either right or left. Extra information. If you are struggling to identify your right and your left, what I find very helpful is you hold your hand up, and whichever hand makes an L is your left, right? So this hand can't make an L, it's not an L, so this is my right, and this is my left. That was just a side note, okay? So if something is not right, it is left. If something has not started, so to begin, it ends. When something is on, it can be turned off. So, like I said, antonyms, a word opposite in meaning to another. Opposite in meaning. And opposite means different or reverse. So we're not just looking for random words that are different to each other, like dark and end or off and right. Those are not antonyms because it is not opposite in meaning to another, right? It's just different. So it only covers the one factor of what an opposite is, not the other. We're looking for words that are reverse, that are opposite in meaning. Awesome. I hope that was clear enough. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, remember, your key point, what you always think when you hear antonyms, you think opposites. When you hear opposite, you think different and reverse, okay? Once again, you can't have on and young be antonyms because what? Okay? But old and young are antonyms because it is opposite in meaning, which means it's reverse. Totally different. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this hopefully elaborate explanation of what an antonym is, why things are antonyms, and the thorough definition of what an opposite really is. See you guys again next time. Bye.